Hello and welcome to Mike's Garage. If you've already subscribed to our channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. And when you do, be sure and tap on the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we put up a new video. Also, if you tap the like button, we appreciate that too. Thank you. Okay, in our last video, I had just put this wheel on and I put the seat on. And I got everything pretty well done, and all of a sudden I said, I got more stuff to do. I'm going to go nuts. Let's put it on the next video, so that's what we're doing. What I really want to do is I wanted to show adjusting the chain, and I wanted to show adjusting the rear brake. So the chain, first off, let's connect it. The wheel is pretty well mounted as far as that's concerned. It's let's see what I did do here. See, that didn't work. That should do it. Yep. Okay, what I was going to say is I did put in the lug bolts and all that because we've already done that in previous videos. And what I'm going to do here is I'm putting the master link on to the chain. I'm going to put some grease in it just because I can. Now you're probably wondering what I'm going to do with the chain. I'm not going to have everybody see me cleaning it, but what I will is blow it off with a whole lot of alcohol and stuff, and then I will use a good brand of chain lube. And they do make a chain wax, I think it's called, that I like to use. Okay, now let's see if this little chain plate's going to go on. And yes, it is. Sometimes they don't, and you have to clamp them to get them on right. Now, the important point to remember is the chain is going that way. Now, a lot of these things I say, I don't mean to be rude. I know a lot of people know them, a few don't. So I really would like to be sure that people are notified because this is a real safety issue. You want the closed end of the master link to be going forward. Now, some of these are real hard to put on, and some of them are real easy. That one happened to be real easy. But my point is, the closed end is going to be traveling forward. If the open end travels forward, if it snags on or taps anything, that thing will come loose. By the way, anytime you take a master link off, it's really a good idea to use a new one if you can. This old chain here is going to get replaced pretty soon, but it's actually in pretty good shape. It just needs a cleaning and lubing, and it'll be fine for now. So now that the chain is on and the adjusters are pretty much where they need to be, what you want to do is, in looking at this thing, you want to sight right down the chain. I want to stand right in front of the camera and get in the way because I want you to see where I'm looking. Can you shoot down that chain there with your camera, Mike? The main thing is to get that chain visibly as straight as you can. The next thing is, when the wheel is centered properly, and when I say properly, understand that the most important thing that wheel has to do is line up with the chain. So if I take my flashlight and I look at this chain, I can see daylight on both sides of the sprocket teeth. Okay, I can do it looking from the top. If I was using if I had a sprocket that's not on a brake drum, you could see both sides more easily. But I can see them just fine here in the shop with my flashlight, that there is daylight on both sides of that sprocket. And The chain, yeah, it could be just a little bit tighter. So I'm going to go one little flat here. Then I'm going to go over the other side, and I'm going to go one little flat, because I'm happy that it's straight. It's in the middle. So that took just a little bit of slack out of that. Now I'm going to tighten it up. And when I tighten it up, now this is the sleeve. This nut is on this sleeve here that went through the backing plate of the brake, and the wheel runs against it. So we want to get that nice and tight. And you want to remember that what happens is when it gets tight, it may tighten up the chain a little too, so we may need to go back and check this out again. So there it is. That sleeve nut is tight. Now we'll put the lock tab on that goes to the axle nut. We'll get that axle nut tightened up. And again, these torques are not in the book, so I get to do them any way I like. Which to me, good and tight, good strong feel, everything will be dandy. Now when I get this tight, we'll see what that means to the chain. And we'll go back and look at that chain, make sure it's in alignment. I've taken a lot of these and do the whole thing, get it all tightened up and done, and go have to just loosen everything up and start over again. So don't feel like you're being strange if that happens. Okay, now that one is a bolt on the primary that it's hitting. That chain looks about as straight as it can be for an old chain, and we're getting it, and I know where that bolt is. It's right there. And I'm going to put a shorter one in there later. Want to show where that one is, Mike? Because I can actually see that bolt there that's holding the primary to the bottom of the oil tank is too long. Not a proper bolt there anyway. So we will fix that. So that's pretty much it. We can now take and hold the chain adjuster and tighten the lock nut on that. Once that's tight, then we'll go over the other side, make sure the other one's tight. Okay. Now I'll hold the bolt as I tighten the lock nut. Sometimes it's hard to get in there on these. This is the old type adjusters on the old type frames. No wonder I was so far out of alignment. Okay. We'll get this tightened up, then we can adjust the brake. Sorry about that. I had no idea that this thing was out that far. And all it is the lock nut. There, we finally ran out of thread. Whew. Okay. There it is. It's all tight and nice. All right, the next thing I want to do is adjust the brake. And I don't expect to get it right on the first try, but I'm going to lube this pin just in case I do. go ahead and put it in place. Okay, now, let's see here. Okay. So we're going to have to move that quite a bit. And see what happens. I think it's going to be a pretty good surprise. I don't know how far off I am yet, but that looks like a 7/16 instead of a half. Let's see. Okay, that's a guess. Now, I'm just going to go over and push the pedal and see what happens. I like it. That quick. Just now that bolt is bothering me, and I'll fix that later. But that brake is just dandy. I think what I'm going to do is back off on that bolt so it quits bothering me for now. Can I have another wrench here? Excuse me. There is not another half there at the moment. And there is not one on the other side. So, that being said, I'll get one off the wall. And if I back this bolt out enough, I don't think it's going to hit that chain and bother me while I get it all adjusted. Yeah, it is. That should do it. There it is. I like the tension on the chain. And if I spin that wheel and I hit that brake, it's there. It's there and it's great. Maybe we should test and see if the brake light works. Yes, it does. Brake light works. Tail light works. I'm a happy boy. So I'm going to put a shorter bolt in there. But other than that, it looks like I can put this washer back on here and put a cotter pin in that pin, and I'm done. Elsie is finally starting to cooperate. Boy, am I glad. And I think Mike's going to have her pretty soon. I don't see a whole lot of things needing to be done, which kind of makes me happy, because that means she can get out of my way And maybe I can do a few things to my shovel head that'll make me happy. All righty. Cotter pin is in. And seats on. Chains adjusted. Let's see what she looks like. I'd say that looks pretty good. That tire looks really nice. I wanted to mention something else. I keep getting asked the question over and over again, why I put a pan under this thing to start it up for the first time. Well, there's two reasons you put a pan under them usually. One is because it may have wet sumped. These motors have a dry sump system. If they sit too long, they fill up with oil. The oil comes out the breather when you start them, makes a mess. So to put a pan underneath them is a good idea. The other thing is the primary chain is a total loss system. It's an adjustment on the oil pump so that the oil goes on through the breather pipe and onto the primary chain. And then after it's done its job on the primary chain, it just runs out the bottom. There's a little hole back there in the back corner where it goes out. When this stuff was built, most roads were dirt. And to put a little oil on a dirt road was a good thing. So that doesn't mean it's nasty or it's not operating properly. It's just standard routine stuff. So I don't know how much we have more to do to this thing. Not much. And she'll be going to Mike. And that'll be it. She'll be home. So we're going to do something else soon, probably. I don't know if we'll be working on Elsie again soon or what it's going to be. So until then, I'll see you out on the road.